Okay, we do have a quorum, and so we are ready to begin with item D under number 1, and that is, do we have a report from closed session?
Madam President, we did have a closed session last meeting. We discussed labor negotiations and real property negotiations. We took no action.
Thank you very much. Okay, and then let's see. We're going to move on to item 3, special reports. And today I am very pleased to say we have Commander Taylor with us to give a report from the Sheriff's Department.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Taylor. I'm the new station commander for the Coast Patrol Division. So I'm your point of contact. Aaron Nix, who had been the previous commander, has been transferred, and he's now in charge of our detective division following some promotions and retirements that were made within the sheriff's office. I took command of the Coast Station on Monday, so my knowledge base as to what issues and what things have gone on recently is sort of historical. I've been trying to read through reports and look at logs. Just a preliminary look at the log between February 1st and March 24th for the Cambria area. There was a total of 417 calls for service. Now, a call for service could be anything from a on-site field-initiated act by the deputy, or it could be a call for service relating to some complaint from a citizen. The important breakdown of the calls for service were as follows. There were 11 incidents of theft, either petty theft or grand theft, reported between that February 1st and March 24th period. There were 5 burglaries. There were 8 reported disturbances of the peace, which could have been anything from a fight to loud neighbors to, a loud party. There were 2 instances of domestic or spousal abuse, and there was 1 incident of an assault with a deadly weapon. That incident occurred on the 24th of February in the 1900 block of Knoll Way. The report indicated that it involved an intoxicated subject who'd gotten into a fight with his parents and also his spouse. And at one point during this fight, the subject grabbed 2 separate rifles at 2 separate times and pointed them at family members. When the deputies arrived on scene, they got him into custody, interviewed him, and then he was later arrested for assault with a firearm, exhibiting a firearm in a rude or threatening manner, battery against a spouse, and also terrorist threats. The only other issues that we are having that I wanted to bring to your attention and to the public's attention is we are having a repeat of the phone scams which happen periodically. The latest rash has involved a caller who calls you at your home and tells you that they are Officer Jones or Deputy Cole. They say that there is a warrant for your arrest and that it can be cleared up over the phone, and they then instruct you to follow a certain method in which to usually put money on an account or money on some type of a card, like a green dot card, and then they give you a number to call back, and you provide the number for that card so that they can remove the money. And of course, it's simply a scam. There is no warrant for your arrest. One other variation is they will call and they will say that you have a relative who's in jail who needs bail money. Another variation, this happened to me last night in my own home. Somebody called and said they were Officer Brown from the IRS. And I had a little bit of fun with them. I said, well, that's good. I know Officer Brown. You're not Officer Brown.
Really a smart move.
Well, what we would ask any member of the public that receives these types of phone calls is do not engage them. Just hang up on them. We don't solicit money through phone donations. We don't call you and say you have a traffic fine and you need to pay us over the phone. Payments are made to the court when a payment is due, and they're usually made in person at the court, and you receive a receipt, and you know well in advance what it's concerning. We don't call people up out of the blue. So if anyone should get any types of phone calls along those lines, please do not engage. If you want to call us and make a report, we certainly will take the information. We have been logging this latest rash because they specifically have identified themselves as deputies from the sheriff's office, and they're actually using names of actual deputies. That we've even had personnel at the sheriff's office that have answered the phone and received the message that, you know, Deputy Smith, and same thing. Well, I know Deputy Smith. I work with him, and you're not Deputy Smith. And then, of course, click, they hang up. So we're not immune from this either. The only other issue that I thought I would mention is that the county engages in a regular program of tobacco sales compliance checks, where we send decoys out with deputies and with personnel from the county health agency to do compliance checks on businesses to make sure they're not selling tobacco to underage people. The latest round of inspections were done between December and February. During that period of time, we had 2 locations in Cambria that had sold tobacco. Both of those locations were repeat offenders. They had done this during the prior reporting period. There's going to be some work with those 2 businesses to try to get them into a program where they can do education with their staff, and also to try and get them to invest in some technology that allows them to simply swipe a driver's license, and the clerk doesn't have to do any math calculations. It simply says whether it's a good sale or no sale at all, and that'll help them maintain their license and stay out of trouble. Overall, the rate was fairly good countywide. The compliance rates have always been pretty good. The businesses seem to do a fairly good job of making sure they're not selling to the wrong people. So that is the extent of my report, and I'm happy to be here and be out of headquarters, be out dealing with the public again. So I look forward to meeting and talking to all of you as time goes on.
Well, thank you very much, Commander Taylor. We're very happy to have you here. Do we have any comments or questions from anyone from the board? Well, I would say again, thank you. It has been something that we've been looking forward to meeting you, and hope to see you then. Will we see you pretty routinely now?
Oh, that's my philosophy is more akin to the philosophy of some of the other managers that I kind of grew up with, and that is, as the station commander, I'm essentially your police chief. So the sergeants supervise the men do the work. My job is to maintain lines of communication with the service districts, with the chambers of commerce, with the business community. I mean, not to say I'm a politician, but I do the politics. I deal with the issues that come up that we need to be aware of, so we can either alter policy or implement policy at the sheriff's level if needed to do a better level of service. So I will be at every meeting you post or invite me to.
Well, I first of all thank you, because that's what we want, a good, solid partnership where that, we hear and know the kinds of things that are going on. And we do meet typically on the 4th Thursday of each month. There are a couple of exceptions, so we look forward to you joining us.
Good. Very good.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Okay, now on agenda review, are there any additions, deletions, or any items that someone wants to pull? Hearing none, then we will move on to public comment. And this, of course, is on anything that's not on the agenda. And so we will begin with, let's see, we have these in order of time, so we like to be very fair with everyone. Thank you for putting the times down. And the first person today that we'll hear from will be Paul Carlson.
Good afternoon, CCSD directors, manager, and staff. I'm going to talk briefly about EWS and what I perceive. The opponents of our brackish water project have objected to the EWS project from the beginning. They said that we did not have an emergency water shortage. They objected to the waiver of county permit fees. They've been objecting at all agency activities but at no time have provided rational or reasonable objections. Then they said the EWS project would never be turned on. However, when it was apparent the project was moving forward, they sued the CCSD and residents of Cambria, hiding their identity behind their tax-exempt Land Watch Front organization. This has cost the community $30,000 in legal fees. However, the court ruled there is an emergency shortage of water and that the emergency permitting process was proper and that the CCSD was likely to prevail if the case continues in court. As the rainy season wands and there is no rainfall, there is no snow in the mountains, the reservoirs are empty, and it becomes more apparent that the EWS was a timely and fortunate project for the people of Cambria. We should be thanking our CCSD directors rather than lambasting them. We are fortunate to have received the grants that have reduced our costs by almost half. In addition, I thank our CCSD staff and directors for that. Now the CCSD staff is pursuing operational readiness of the project while the